What is digital thriving and why should you care? Hello and welcome to Digital Thriving with West Hart, where we talk about tactical and practical ways to help the world thrive online. Digital thriving is the focus of the Thriving in Games group, the Digital Thriving Playbook, and of course this show. But until now, we've not actually talked about what digital thriving means, why it matters, and who should care. Truth is, I waited on purpose. While planning the show, there were already plenty of questions from folks in the industry about pro-social behavior and the rafting model, and in the spirit of being tactical and practical, it seemed best to talk about those up front. But now, at episode number 5, it seems totally appropriate to answer the big question: what is digital thriving and why should you care? My current favorite definition of digital thriving is this: life leveled up, online, and by design. I'll say it once again. Life leveled up, online, and by design. Now, the longer, more or less official definition: digital thriving is the outcome of online spaces intentionally designed to foster combined feelings of well-being, accomplishment, belonging, and meaningful relationships in individuals, groups, and communities. We're going to dive deeper into the specifics of this definition, but you got to admit, it's easier to remember life leveled up, right? We'll start there then. Woven into the shorter version is the clue that games are at the core. That's the leveled up part. Games play this core role because they offer the greatest chance for the greatest value for the greatest number of people. You simply do more in games than other mediums, and therefore games are learning more valuable lessons about what people do and what they need to be happy. We'll spend more time on this point later. From our perspective, life leveled up is when you feel good about yourself, your interactions with others, and your progress at something. This combination is a state of human thriving. Not a perfect state, mind you, but one we're all hardwired to want, and a damn good one, where our individual and collective best outweighs the rest. While it's not a perfect state, it's also not an end state. You never thrive and stop. You're always striving for thriving, and any online space designed for it recognizes that this is an active, ongoing process. You don't thrive alone. Thriving isn't a solo mission. To truly thrive, you need others, and they need you. Therefore, digital thriving means you're a part of a thriving network that involves engaged people, active groups, and a strong community that they belong and contribute to. You're doing your best in support of others doing the same. I want to pause for a second. When I'm talking to a live audience, this is usually the part where I notice a look in some people's eyes, a look that says, "Oh, he's so passionate. That's so ideal but unrealistic." If that's what you're thinking, please stop. Don't mistake passion for delusion. I'm not delusional, unrealistic, or cheerleading for a lost cause. The whole point of the Digital Thriving Playbook is to give the world the practical methods and the evidence that backs them. What you're viewing or listening to now is just another way to gain that knowledge. The goal is not perfection, but potential. Digital thriving is about the untapped potential of everyone online. And we're talking about a lot of people. 74% of the entire world's population is online. That's billions of people striving for thriving. Most people online are on social media, and it's here that we can begin to see the untapped potential. Just look at the verbs. From my point of view, social media is oriented around one verb: sharing. Yes, there are other related actions like watching and reacting, but it all boils down to sharing at volume and scale. Not that sharing is intrinsically bad. It isn't. But doing anything too often is usually bad, right? Doing one thing over and over with no tangible result or material value. Being on a hamster wheel of dopamine boost doesn't sound like thriving to me. Not for all. Not in our vision. Not tapping potential. I recognize that I've potentially set myself up for failure because I work in games. And don't games give people dopamine boosts too? Can't they be addictive? Yes, of course games can be addictive. And some, I won't name names, are purposely designed to be those hamster wheels. These clearly aren't designed to foster digital thriving. Maybe corporate thriving, but not digital. What I encourage you to do, once again, is look at the verbs. That's one path to important answers. This method can help even those who know nothing about games understand what's happening and the value within. When you look for the verbs in games, look deep. What may seem like two teams doing random, explosive, aggressive things may be the surface level of a whole slew of complicated actions, evaluating in real time, managing inventory, coordinating with teammates, communicating important information, negotiating strategy, planning, using rapid hand-eye movement, honoring opponents, and much more. A game with lots of verbs requires lots of skills, which often apply, at least fundamentally, to other areas of life. And if, as a player, you walk away from this game feeling good about yourself, your interactions with others, and your progress, you are, at least for now, thriving. You've taken active steps to reach your untapped potential. Depth is a key difference between grinding and thriving, and the number of verbs at play often highlights that difference. Now, I'm not saying add verbs and thriving will happen. Unfortunately, things are more complicated than that. Not to mention, this is probably a bad formula for making a good game. What I'm saying is that thriving needs some depth. And online games, as I've said, offer the greatest chance of the greatest value for the greatest number of people. They have more verbs, and therefore learn more lessons about how to help people thrive online, and these lessons can be applied everywhere people interact. And how many people are playing games online today? About 80%. That's a lot of untapped potential. Does all this answer why you should care about digital thriving? Probably not for everyone. I could feel that. It's palpable. Even if you've come this far, I feel that some of you are still willing to brush off digital thriving as some kumbaya type stuff. Well, let me quickly tackle who should care and why. Number one, everyone online. If you're online, and if you hear my voice, then you should care about digital thriving. Perhaps you're not in a position to help foster it beyond being good to others, but you should care. Why? Because it's what you've been promised, and you deserve better. Social media companies often claim to connect and build relationships, but do they? Is sharing all that matters? And what's more important, sharing quality or quantity? Who decides? Ultimately, you do. And where you share is your choice. You should care because you could be getting more out of your time online, reaching your untapped potential, feeling good about yourself, your relations, and your progress. You could be thriving, and those you know and love could be thriving too. Number two, developers. As you'll hear me say a lot on the show, they thrive, we thrive. If you design your spaces to help people feel good and get good, they will keep coming back because people go where they thrive. In other words, it's simply good business. Better yet, it's a feel-good business, and that feels good. You really don't need to be 100% altruistic. You can foster digital thriving with a goal of making money, but if you're only doing it for money, you're far likely to undermine what produces thriving. So never forget, if they thrive, we thrive, and your business will be doing right by its customers. Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, once said that the web was designed, quote, to help people work together, to support and improve our web-like existence in the world. Many of us see digital thriving as helping to fulfill the promise of this vision. We've seen enough in games to have deep conviction that this vision can be realized, and we've learned enough to know that tactical and practical methods are key. Hopefully by now, you've learned quite a lot about digital thriving. Let me refresh your memory. Digital thriving, in short, is about life leveled up, online and by design. Life leveled up is when you feel good about yourself, your interactions with others, and your progress in something. Leveled up shows how games are at the core of digital thriving. Online and by design means we're talking about a connected world intentionally designed to foster thriving. Thriving is not a perfect or end state. We are always striving for thriving. You don't thrive alone. Thriving isn't a solo mission. To truly thrive, you need others, and they need you. Digital thriving is about reaching untapped potential. And there's a lot. You can easily tell where potential is untapped online by the depth of verbs. The fewer you see, the more untapped. You can also look for the verbs to understand games. Digital thriving matters to everyone, and perhaps most of all, developers whose games would thrive if players thrive. And lastly, digital thriving isn't a pipe dream. It's emergent. We're seeing it in games. And from these, we're identifying the means to achieve it. We hope you'll join us in fulfilling this promise. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining. Please hit subscribe wherever you're watching, and I hope you're thriving out there.